Hey, hey, everybody, it's Ron Jackson. Let me go live on Instagram, which I really don't do much. Hey, I'm live on Instagram too. Wow. So, let me keep the volume down on here. And I'm not using any fancy audio today because I'm going live talking about sight reading, everybody. So, if you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'm going to just really monitor most of my messages or try to monitor them in both places if I can. Let me see if I can by tiling the windows on my computer. We're going to be talking about reading live music. So, for example, this is all about sight reading, everybody, for guitar players who do not use, who use tabs. Like, I never learned how to play guitar um, without really reading sheet music, everybody. So let me move this over here so you can see me a little bit better. And so, for example, you see this music in front of me right here. I'm using two cameras today, which is kind of interesting. What's happening is this. If you have any questions, everybody, please say hi. If you don't follow me, please do so. This is the book that I used when I was at Berkeley. It's called A Modern Method for Guitar. And, this book really helped me learn how to read. But not only that, it also helped me. Other books helped me. This is like the modern way of reading music for guitar. Now, there's no tabs, nothing in this, everybody. Just so you know. Okay. Let me see if there's any comments or anything. I'm going to put a banner up right now for everybody. If you're watching, I have some cool things here. You could check out my Patreon up there and everything. But if you look here, this book is a pretty big book. This is all 3 volumes of that book, A Modern Method for Guitar by William Levitt. And it's a really great book about learning how to read or sight read on the guitar, everybody. And so I had a page up right a minute ago that was like a chord melody thing. And it really gets you into that whole thing, reading like full chord melody kind of songs at the beginning of the book. It's this one right here. It's already page 25, and you have to learn how to play this. So this is a chord melody, a very like a real chord melody that's already done. It goes like this. Now this is pick style. I hit that note by accident. Now, this is a book 1. I have to look over my shoulder. Oops. So basically, I'm just reading through that. I don't know this song. I played it before. I'm not sight reading really. I played this before, but I don't know. I don't remember when. I teach this to my students who learn about guitar. So what's interesting about it is this. You know, there's no tabs or anything like most guitars need, and it's important to learn how to read on the guitar without tabs if you can. And but when I'm playing this, I know what chord I'm playing over. I know that this is a C chord by looking at it. I know the notes, C, E, G. And when you read music, you need to know you need to know all kinds of basic things on the staff, for example. So when I'm reading, I know all the key signatures. These are all basic things you learn when you learn how to play, when you learn how to read music. If there's any questions, please let me know on Instagram, anywhere, if you joined. And so this is just one situation about reading. Like, these are just pure notes, no chords, nothing. So it's important to know your notes on the guitar, but also I'm reading way down here. I'm not playing any place like really difficult to read on. I'm using open strings. Like, most guitar players only can read way down here. You see that? And that's a problem a lot of guitar players have, because you can play the same thing here. Watch this. Then this is right. See, that gets hard to play. See that? See, watch this. So I gotta play those two notes together. So I did the same thing. Played it up on the fifth position. You can play the same notes there, actually, everybody. And that's, that's not easy to do. So I had to, because this is made for open strings, this part right here, but you should know the guitar neck everywhere when you're reading, without tabs, everybody, just so you know. So this is originally played here, but I'm playing it here. So for people who just showed up, this is the book I used when I was at Berklee College of Music, A Modern Method for Guitar. Now, this is 3 volumes. I'm only at page 26, but when you start getting it, this book is great. You know why it's called The Modern Method for Guitar? Because the old method was this. I'll show you. My book's kind of messed up because I've used it for a while. I have this book called I'll show you, everybody. I have this book called The Carcassi Method for Guitar. You see that? And that is the classical method. Now, the classical method had certain scales that you played. Like the classical C major scale was this scale. Let me see if you can see this. Let me see if I can move this way. Oh, this way. So if you see this, watch this. There's a classical C major scale. Okay, that's how you play the classical major scale. Okay, and then in this book, The Modern Method for Guitar, you play the C major scale everywhere. In here, basically you connect all the way up with the fingerboard. See? So these scales, keep going. Okay, are all in this book, but in this book, the old style method, back when the guitar was, I forget what year this book is, but Carcassi was a composer. I gotta read about this guy again, but he was one of the first classical methods that came out. And it has all the things about the guitar, all the notes, but there was never any tabs, everybody. So you had to learn about notation, you know, rhythms, where the notes were, accidentals, key signatures, all that stuff. And that stuff is very, very important if you want to play music. You know, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Everybody that's watching. And if you don't follow me or anything like that, please follow me at Ron Jackson Music on Instagram, everywhere actually. And you know, and I have a lot of in-depth stuff on my YouTube channel at Ron Jackson Music. And I'd like to thank everybody that's on there. So look at this. This is the you know, how they play scales of position and all this other stuff. You know, and all the notes on the strings, but everything's written out. See, tabs have existed for a long time. Oh, my book's kind of messed up. But you know, you see how everything's written? And also, this is a book about using your, you know, using your fingers to, you know, perform a lot of these songs. So, for example, you know, this is the key of A major, so you have to know. Let me show this one, if I can show you. This one's in the key of A major, so they play you the scale like here. They want you to play it like this. Let me see if I can show you. So I know already the key of A major has 3 sharps. I mean, don't even think about it. You know, C sharp, okay. Okay, so it's A, B, C sharp, G sharp, I mean F sharp and G sharp. And you know, what you do is you have to memorize the key signatures and the order of sharps and flats to really learn this. The order of sharps, you know, is, you know, F, C, you know, Fred chases girls down at Eddie's bar, F, C, G, etc. Okay, and then you have the order of flats, beat cuff, B-E-A-D, G, C, F, okay? And then, so now, when I'm playing this, I have to make sure I memorize all the sharps. So I'm just going to read the first exercise. I'm just sight reading. Now, I'm supposed to be playing with my fingers, actually. So that's a whole different story. So let me show you guys. So if I'm playing with my fingers, everybody, it's going to look like, it wants me to use these little dots here, if you could see them. And the little dots are your first finger and your thumb. So this is my thumb. Now first finger, second thumb. First finger, second finger. First finger, second finger, etc. You understand what I'm saying? Now, first finger, third finger, fourth finger. Now, second finger. And then you play a chord here. This is the chord, this one. So this is this exercise right here. Just a very, very basic exercise. If there's any questions, everybody, let me know. And if you're enjoying this live stream, please share with everybody at Ron Jackson Music. If you can see my face. So we're working on sight reading today. And how many ways you can sight read on the guitar. So this is a classical method. Then, you know, you have a waltz here. So this is 3/8 right here. You see that? And 3/8 means 3/8 notes per measure. And each beat gets an 8th note. So it's like this. It's 3/4, but with an 8 notes instead. So it will go like this. 1, 2, 3. Then it goes. That's how it starts, okay? It's just a really basic waltz, and then it gets more fancy with 16th notes, which are actually in 3/8 means you're playing eighth notes in 3/8, but but it's written as 16 notes, so we'll go like this. See that? Then it, then it goes. Fini. It keeps going. It has another page here. But I want to give you an example of classical and how you read classical music, everybody. So, there's no tabs or anything in these kind of books. I know that tabs have existed for a long time, actually, but you need to learn how to read on the guitar neck. So I'm just reading way down here, too. Like, I'm from the first open string, from the first position to the second position, which encompasses 4 frets actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your first finger determines your position. So if I'm on the third position, if I start here, if my fingers circle this area, it's fourth position, etc. Okay. So I'm playing basically in first or second position, which is really easy. When it gets really hard when you start reading up the neck. So these are 2 examples of learning how to read. On the guitar. This is the classical method. Okay, and this is the modern method that William Levitt created. It's a great book. Now, when you get into this book some more, if there's any questions or comments, everybody, I know a lot of guitar players don't have a lot of comments about reading because they're like shy about it. But don't be shy, everybody. Don't be shy. Because I want you to ask me some questions about reading. So I'm doing everything with no notation. No tabs, excuse me. So when you get to way into this book, everybody, the William Levitt book, like I'm on page 136. So what happens in the William Levitt book, they start teaching you about chord symbols, but you have to know how to play these chord symbols. And then you're not playing like always in this, like in low positions anymore, like way down here. You're playing up the neck. So this is the key of B flat. And I forget, I don't know what position he wants me to play this in, but I think it's going to be up here like this. It doesn't go too high, but the highest note is this D note. So that note is right here. See that? And then he has the chord symbols, so you can follow along with strumming patterns. You see that? And let me see if anybody's making any comments here. Nobody's making comments yet. Anyway. So what happens is I'll play up here, and these rhythms are not, are basic jazz rhythms, but you have to know how to count rhythm, everybody, too. And you have to know where these notes are on the staff when you want to learn how to read. Okay, so I'm going, and I'm not using the tab. So this key of B flat, so I know this is way up here, so I know this position of B flat, the scale here. The key of B flat has 2 flats, okay. It has B flat and E flat, okay. So B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. Now you should be able to say all your notes, everything that I'm doing right now as well, okay, when you're learning how to read music. And every key you should know what your sharps or flats are on the, and the relative minor, and you should know what interval you're playing, etc. So, for example, I know I'm starting on the D here, which is the third. I'm going down. See, then I'm going. So that's the melody. Really simple melody. If I were you, if you're gonna practice with reading or anything like that, and you want to really track the way you play, get a metronome out. So I'll take my metronome. I was doing that earlier with one of my great students that I teach. Really young guy. He's 16. He's a virtuoso already. We'll talk about him later. I'm gonna have him on my podcast. I have a new podcast, everybody, called Keeping Tabs with Ron Jackson. You know what's really hard to do is to do this live and talk to you guys and find the notes and say each note and play everything and sight read. It's kind of hard, but you know, you have to do what you have to do. So please ask me some questions about sight reading. I know no guitarists want to ask, but here, let me keep going. So so I take a metronome to keep me in line. So let me get my metronome out, and so let me slow it down a little bit. You know, tempo di lerno, I call it when it's slow. So that's kind of fast. That's like 90 something. I'm going to slow it down. So I'll do that. So I'll play with that metronome real slow. So I'll go like this. Now the bottom note, the bottom part is much harder. So that looks like, this looks like it's in fifth position. So I'll play the bottom part. It goes like this. Messed up. I'm sight reading. No. Oh, shoot. Ooh. Oh, I skipped lines, everybody. So, it's funny, sight reading in front of an audience, some music that I've never seen before. I've never got this far in the book, actually, this William Levitt book. So, what happens also is that you have to be able to play the chords here. So, it's telling you to strum in eighth notes. So, I'll go like this with the metronome, just for practicing fun. I'm looking ahead too. Now, so it says simile here. So you play the same rhythm. He wrote it all. He wrote these are like symbols for playing eighth notes with strumming. So you have to memorize all this kind of. This is nomenclature. These are chord symbols, and you have to know these chord symbols, everybody. And learn how to play these different kinds of voicings. I'm just sight reading right now. So, and then you play through these changes here and play the same rhythm. It says simile. So you just keep playing. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, first ending. This is not hard. Now you gotta play that F13 flat 9, which sounds like this. Actually, it's easier to play without the root. You can play here too. It's a D chord over an E flat. So anyway, this is the modern method for guitar, and this is page 136, almost at the end of the book. You know, and you're way up here on the fingerboard. It's a great book. You learn all kinds of things about guitar, arpeggios. Now, let me go to another situation. Is there any questions, anybody? Oh, let me see. I see some comments here. Do I? Oh, I see comments, finally. Hey, everybody. Let me turn this off. I see comments on YouTube. Hey, I used to read, but haven't done much recently. I'm guessing most music doesn't have position numbers written on. Would you say knowing all the notes in all positions is best way to start? Well, okay, that's a great question. Learning the notes on the guitar, it's kind of the method. The only thing I don't like about when guitar methods these days, in general, is they always teach everybody how to read way down here, and then up here it's like the Twilight Zone, So you should know all your notes on the guitar. I put an exercise up. You should know how the guitar is constructed. Like that's the first string E, but you got to know that that E is on the second string, and on the third string, and then on the fourth string, and then on the fifth string. Okay, and then do one fret at a time. The thing is, you got to also correspond this note or any note to what's on the sheet music. But reading is really something that you have to practice, like reading a book. You have to know, like if you look at I'm gonna give you another example of some reading I do. Like let's take a rock fake book here. Like this is the rock fake book. It's kind of it's a fake book, and so I have to read these situations too with all these rock books. Like if you're on a gig. I mean, I'm in all kinds of situations. I've been in all kinds of situations from Broadway shows to whatever. Not having any music. To having I saw somebody one time on a gig. He was a bass player. All he wrote out was the notes with no like minor, major, like G, but then next chord is F minor, but he only had an F. So I mean, there's all kinds of situations. Oh, my friend Buddy Williams is there. Oh my God. My favorite drummers, Buddy Williams. How you doing? On Instagram. Anyway, let me keep going. So, that question. Let me show you that question too, everybody. I'm guessing most music doesn't have position markers written on. No, because you know what? Just so you know, if I'm reading a book like this, pop book here, which, I don't know every tune in the book. No one does. So let's say Bird Dog. I don't know this song. Have you heard of Bird Dog? So anyway, so if I'm playing a song like Bird Dog, I mean, all I'm trying to do is just hang. So if I'm going to play the melody, I see that's the key of G, 1 sharp, then I'll just try to play the melody. 1, 2. So, you know what? You know what I'm doing, everybody? I'm like interpreting the music, a pop song, the way I think it should be heard. I've never even heard this song before. If anybody knows this song, Bird Dog, let me know. It's by Bordelot Bryant. But anyway, some kind of pop song. It says play moderately. And I assume it's a pop song because it's a pop book. What I'm doing is I'm trying to just read the music and try to hang and play the melody and play it in time, make sure I'm playing the notes accurately. And I'm trying to find the easiest way to play it. Now, for me, it's easier to play the notes like on the guitar fretboard. Now, I could do it. A lot of guitar players, if they're like don't know how to read, they'll use open strings. But the problem with open strings to me is that there's no expression when you play open strings most of the time. You can go. You can do that. You can bend the notes and make them sound. So that's a great question. So let me So when I'm reading, there's no numbers or anything like this. Just so that was a great question. And because a lot of sheet music doesn't have that stuff. If you go to a gig, they're not going to have tabs for you. You have to really look at the notes and know the notes, everybody. So let me hide that. Thank you. Great question. Is there any questions now on Instagram? No one ever talks on Instagram to me. Please talk, Instagram. Okay, let me go to Yeah, let me see. Um, so Dan said, any tips for improving sight reading and rhythm? Oh, you know what? The best thing to do when you're sight reading and rhythm, everybody, I started studying with a drummer, a great drummer named Jay Finisher. I can never say his name right. Who yeah, I used to know here in New York, but I took a lesson with him because a lot of times when you're like a guitar player or or like a non-drumming instrument, at least in my case, I always thought of rhythm as being the last thing. And the best way to learn improving your sight, your rhythm reading is just practice notes and counting out loud when you're playing your notes, and knowing what the notes values are and sing them. So drummers, just so you know, drummers, all they do is rhythm, and it's nothing. When drummers play all this fancy stuff, it's all mathematical. It's not like some kind of stuff they just make up. They're counting all the time. So a lot of the problem with a lot of people is counting, especially instrumentalists. So it's very important to count. So when I'm playing a song like, like let's say I'm looking at like this rhythm here. So if I'm playing this rhythm here, can you see that? I guess you can. Look, so that's excuse me. Let me get some water. So that's an A note and a C on an eighth note, okay, and that's a G, an eighth note tied over, and then an F, okay, and now so look at this. So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at what beat that's on, what beat that's on. First, this is in 4/4. That's easy, okay, and this is on the first beat. So I call that beat one. That's a quarter note. Two eighth notes. Two eighth notes. One is tied over from the and of two to the first beat of the third beat, and then so that's tied. So you play it together, and then that's in the and of three, and then you play on beat four. So you should be counting this out loud when you're doing this. So you should be going 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That's how you get your rhythm together, actually. You have to be counting all the time. But I'm singing it out loud, actually. And drummers, when they're playing, they actually thinking that in their head already. I never thought about that. I'm always looking at the notes and just trying to hang and just like trying to wing the rhythm. But I'm counting in my head. I'm trying to make that a habit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's hard to do it, to sing those rhythms out loud and play at the same time. But that'll really help your rhythm because subconsciously, your mind will play the rhythms correctly because you're going to be counting subconsciously. Remember, all this stuff I'm showing you is actually, it's so practice is subconscious. When you're practicing at home, which I don't do enough of, everybody, just so you know, because I need to practice all the time, like everybody. When you practice is something that you do so everything becomes subconscious and you're playing without thinking about it. And reading is one of those skills. Like, if you don't know, if you look at the book, I like to do this with my students a lot. If you go to a book and I ask you, what's that letter? And someone says, I don't know, that's an F. You know what that means? If you say that's an F or you don't even know what that is, it means you're illiterate. I don't want to say it's not bad to be illiterate, I guess. Because if I'm illiterate in Russian or Chinese or whatever, all these languages with all these weird graphics, a different language, Cyrillic or Arabic, I'm illiterate, obviously, because I can't read what their alphabet system. It's the same thing with music. So if you don't know what the note is on the staff, you don't know what the rhythm is, you don't know where the note is on, you don't know that the first space of the staff in treble clef is an A note, and then you're illiterate in music. So what you have to do to become literate, you practice. And that's why when you go to school, they have you start reading already. Because if you don't, you're not gonna learn. You're not gonna be literate. It's the same thing with music, everybody. And to be literate with music, you have to really practice all the time this stuff, or at least be exposed to it. I mean, when you're playing jazz and stuff like me, you get exposed to it. You start seeing all the time music, and so look, so these are the situations I'm into. So like I'll get I'll get these music and I'll be on a gig and I'll have this book just like these pop books or pop songs. And let me give you another example. So sometimes I'll be playing, and then I play church sometimes. So they have these hymn books here. I got this from one of my students who passed away, unfortunately, recently. One of my students, former students, he did a lot of church gigs in Brooklyn. He lived in Brownsville. Charles Jennings, a great guy. He was starting to get 7-string. He actually got a 7-string guitar, and during the pandemic, he died like about 2 years ago from heart condition. Rest in peace. He's a great friend of mine. And he got me into these books. These books when I want to play some church music. Sometimes I play churches, guys. I'll be playing my next church performance, everybody. If you want to check it out, I'm going to be playing at St. Peter's Church, summer solstice on June 20th in New York City, 53rd and Lex. If you want to come by, it's with my trio from 4 to 6 p.m. with Steve Johns and Will Gorman. Steve Johns on drums and Will Gorman on the organ, me on the 7-string guitar. We're going to be playing tunes off my new album, and it's through the Grand Central Partnership, Summer Solstice. So anyway, for example, if I want to play a gospel tune, I don't know these tunes. So I have to play these tunes like this. So what I do is I just I look through this stuff and I go, first, guitar players, if you're playing the melody here, the way it's written, it's probably going to be too low. So what I do is I transpose it. And actually, that's how it actually sounds when you play it. Guitar, everything sounds lower, an octave. So I can do it this low. If I play my 7-string, I can do that. Play it lower. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is a simple song. I don't know this at all. I'm just reading. So what I'm doing is, what I wanted to do is, you got to make it sound convincing. So I like to do chord melody. So I'm going to put that melody up higher. Then. Now, okay, so I stopped here. So what I did was I harmonized the melody and played chord melody, everybody. And I transposed this melody up on the guitar an octave, which is this. So that note on the guitar is actually 2 ledger lines above the staff, the C there, okay? So that's a C. So I just transpose it up because it sounds better and it's easier to play chord melody. So if you want to play a convincing church song like this, so I get in these situations where I have to play things like this. And you have to be able to kind of sight read pretty good. Sometimes it can be complicated like this one. More complicated. It's not hard. There's no odd rhythms. This is the key of D. I see automatically. So when you're reading, everybody, you should be able to go through songs and see the key signature and say automatic. That's the key of D. Key of E flat. 3 flats. Key of B flat, 2 flats. Okay. Key of E. No, key of, key of E, 4 sharps, okay? You should be automatic. It's a good exercise to go through the songs and see what the key signatures are. Let me see. Any questions, Instagram? Okay, good. So everybody, you can watch this sight reading workshop. This is going to live on my YouTube channel. That's YouTube, YouTube.com, at Ron Jackson Music. It's easy. And if you want to learn, if you want to study with me or anything like that, please contact me. Send me a message, DM me, or just go to my website, ronjacksonmusic.com. Also, I have a lot of cool lessons. I have these cool shirts like this, got tabs. It's like got milk, but a lot of guitar players ask, got tabs? So, if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. If you want to study with me, I have cool merch. A lot of guitar lessons on jazz improv, even a little bit on sight reading. But sight reading is something that you have to practice, everybody, just like anything. To be good, you have to work on your reading like you read books. Let me see. Oh, look at this. How's everybody doing on Instagram? My friend Nelson's there. Let me say hi. I can't really, it's weird. Like, I'm on like the, let me see my phone, my other phone, the Instagram app on my phone, because I don't know how to work this on Instagram. So I'm live on Instagram, but I don't know how to look at it while I'm here. I can't see it. I can only see it on my computer, my live. But anyway, so we're talking about reading. So this is a gospel book, so I know how to, you have to learn how to harmonize guitar players without like someone giving you some sheet music. So there's so many books I like to use. So we've been doing easy stuff. Now there's some books that are really hard. Like I have this Latin fake book, and this gets really complicated. Some of the rhythms and some of the chords. Look at this. Look at this stuff. So Down Zone. This is called Down Zone from My Father by Oscar Hernandez. Do I know him? Actually. But anyway, so there's a lot of 16th notes here. And then this is in this is a fast 4. Well, no, the chord notes, it's not that fast. But you have to work on your 16 note rhythms. Look at this. Let me go over here. See that? So you're gonna go so this is a what key? This is a key of F. Okay, so it's like 1, 2. Now, so what I would do is I would definitely put a metronome on to keep me in line with this song. You understand? Put my metronome on. Let me do that right now. And so, because those are these kind of songs with 16 notes to me are harder for me to read because I'm less used to playing 16 notes than 8th notes. So I would put this on. Let me put my metronome on. I wouldn't do it too fast yet. So I would put this on 4/4. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, da, 2. So then you should be able to count the rhythm out. 1, 2, da, 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 ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da. See that? I'll slow it down a little bit because I'm sight reading. 3, 4, 1, 2. 2. 2, 3, 4, 1. So you see, when I'm reading, I'm just actually I could be interpreting this a lot better actually, but I'm just reading. I'm just trying to get through the song and play the notes correctly and play the rhythms correctly. But you see, I was playing them mostly correct, and I could tell that I wasn't lost because you could hear the beat. You could hear beat 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Let me go back here. So let me show you again. So that's why it's good to use a metronome and click it on 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you know where you're at. So then you got to try to learn how to play the chords with all these kicks. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. looking through the chords, you know, and making sure. So I'm sight reading this. Like I've never seen this progression before. I should be using this book all the time. So these are every two beats. And then B flat major 7 with the D in the bass. And then A7 with the C sharp in the bass. You should know all your inversions when you're sight reading as well. So I'm kind of used to doing these kind of weird progressions because I used to do a lot of Broadway shows, play a lot of shows, and they have all these weird progressions and stuff. But you know, if you're like advanced guitar player, or you know, if you're a professional guitar player in jazz, you should be able to play all these kind of progressions with no problems. You should know all this stuff, all these different kinds of chords here. You see that? Like a A7, 13, flat 9 is this. Then E7, E flat 9, sharp 11. Then D minor 11. Okay, things like that. Now C flat, okay, which is a B over a D flat. Then look at this, E flat over F, which is a sus chord to a sus9. Then alter can mean all kinds of things. Okay, so all these chords you should know, everybody, when you're reading as well. So there's a lot involved with sight reading, everybody, that I've been going through. And so there's different kinds of situations. We have 16th notes. We haven't even talked about odd meters. And this book is really great if you want to work on your reading. A lot of these Latin books, because they have a lot of these rhythms that are like offbeat and syncopated and claves and guaves or whatever you want to call them. And look at this. Look at this. Uh-oh. This is some hard stuff here to read. Sight reading, man. But you know what? I used to just practice this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 E and you know, 4 E and 2, 3, 4 da da da. Oh, 3 da 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 da. So you gotta sing these rhythms. If you can't sing the rhythms, you're not gonna be able to play them. So you got to be able to sing the rhythms, all these fancy 16th notes, you know, da 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 da. You know, then this is a different measure. You know, all these rhythms, 1 da 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 da. And then the 2/4 bar here, and just go through all these chords. And you know, I have to practice this stuff. I don't practice my 16 note rhythms like I like to, you know, but. That's why it's good just to work on your reading individually. If you're a guitar player or any instrumentalist, you know, just so you guys know, everybody, you know, guitar players are notorious for being bad readers. Just so you know, even some of the best guitar players around in jazz or whatever. I mean, you'd be surprised though, like people who are well trained in some rock genres. Actually, I won't say their names, but they really can read really well. One of my heroes actually was Steve Vai. Excuse me. He could read, you know, he used to write all this stuff and write all, you know, transcribe and do odd meters. He's really great at notation and stuff like that, you know, and you know, and writing all these crazy rhythms. But, you know, guitar players are notorious for not knowing how to read. But to learn this skill, you have to practice. You just have to practice. I might just practice after this workshop. But, you know, thank you everybody for watching. You know, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe or follow me. You know, if you're watching, I accept Super Chat on YouTube or you know, and all those other places. And let me show you another banner here. I'm going to show you a banner. If you enjoyed the show, you can you see that? Oh yeah, I guess you can. It's at the bottom. If you want to buy me coffee, you can go to my PayPal, Ron Jackson Music, and all these other places. But, you know, I appreciate you guys watching, everybody. There was no comments at all. I don't know. Maybe I can't see the comments on my on this screen here. I wish I could, but I just don't see any on Instagram. But, you know, you can watch the replay about this live lesson about sight reading. And, you know what's really funny? I didn't even take out most of the books for this session here. I have so many books about reading, stride guitar books, Mel Bay books. I have like a whole library of books behind me. See all that stuff back there? Those books. And most of it's like, you know, this Mel Bay book is a good example. where they have both notation and tabs. You know, if you want to be, you know, what's good about tabs. Now, guitar players rely on it too much. It tells you exactly where they want you to play whatever is written out. You know, or how, you know. So like this one. Oh, this has a low D. So, you know, you have to tune the string down to a low D. So that's a D note below the staff. So I'm going to have to tune the guitar for that one. But just for example, you know, these books are, you know, any book that, some books have both the tabs and this has a low D again too. So, you know, it's important to know, to be able to read both, especially if you want to get into, you know, being specific about fingerings. For example, I just wanted to let you guys know, everybody, I have a new article coming out in Acoustic Guitar Magazine. So this is the book, one of the books I've written for them, called Chords at Your Fingertips. So when we write out lessons like my lesson in this book, which is this one. This lesson is it's about Freddie Green style guitar playing that I wrote. We always write tabs and the notation and the chord symbols most of the time, so people can understand how to read. But you know, one time I did a lesson on sight reading on Acoustic Guitar Magazine, and they still wanted me to write the tabs, and I couldn't see the point. Why would you have a lesson on sight reading on the guitar and still use tabs? Because, you know, you want to learn how to read notes on the guitar without looking at tabs to know where your notes really are, and at least give yourself a choice. So anyway, that's my workshop on sight reading, everybody. Please watch this on YouTube again if you know, and check out my cool stuff on my website at ronjacksonmusic.com. And you know, if you want to get more into this stuff, you can take lessons with me. You know, and you can join my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Ron Jackson Music. I just got another patron yesterday, Rodney, who's actually picked up one of my shirts. He's my Filipino brother from another mother. And, you know, you could check that out, my Patreon. You get all the lessons that I teach for free over there, a lot of them, depending on what level you're at. And I'm doing a Patreon referral program. If you join for a year, which you get 10% off, I'm going to give you a free half-hour lesson, okay, for joining for a year. And if you refer somebody, they get a free half-hour lesson. You get one too, okay? And there's no limit to that if you join my Patreon. And thank you, everybody. It's Ron Jackson, and appreciate y'all. See you on a gig I'll be playing next. I'm playing Tuesday in New York City at Pershing Square, Grand Central Station with my band for one set, 12 noon till 1:30 p.m. It's going to feature Steve Johns on the drums and Deshaun Harper on the bass, and myself on 7-string guitar if you want to come see me play. So we'll see you guys soon, okay? And thanks for watching. I was on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook all at the same time just now. And you can watch the replay on Facebook and YouTube, everybody. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day, okay? Bye-bye. That was sight reading. And we still haven't even covered all the books. Bye-bye. Thank you. Let me end it here as well.